Hey guys, I'm still at SMSA in the cafeteria by myself, um, making this video um, for our lesson today. I'm very excited about this lesson. We're focusing on making an adaptation. We are starting Romeo and Juliet today. We're going to read the prologue. We're going to analyze it in our groups, and we're going to begin thinking about how we can adapt this story and make it our own. Even all this time later, this story, the story of Romeo and Juliet, still has themes and messages that relate to us. We're going to make those themes and messages our own as we embark on this unit and we start to tackle this project. And so our learning objective today specifically is to anticipate and envision some of the key themes in Romeo and Juliet and to analyze the prologue specifically, like the very first part, and interpret the vocabulary in it and some of the important ideas that are in it as well. And so what we're going to do to start is go over this concept of an adaptation. An adaptation is when you adapt, and An adaptation is when you, we're going to go the other way. So an adaptation is when you adapt an existing story into a new setting, a new genre, or I hit my face in the way, a new medium. So for example, Shakespeare's other play, or another one of his plays, The Taming of the Shrew, became the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. So it was an adaptation. They changed a play to a movie. The book series Harry Potter became the movie series Harry Potter. Same with the Avengers comics. So they changed the medium of it, the book or the comic book, to a movie. And sometimes it works in other mediums too. So like the video game Uncharted became the Netflix movie Uncharted. So it's like when you tell a story in a new way. That's what an adaptation is. You tell an existing story in a new way. And so the key to a good adaptation is it makes changes that allow the audience to see the original source material in a new, exciting way. And so make sure, I'm just going to pause for a second here, guys, just to remind everybody to make sure that we're getting these notes down in our note catchers, which are available next to my desk. And so, like I was saying, the key to a good adaptation is to allow your audience to see the original source material in a new, exciting way. So, for example, Romeo and Juliet has been adapted a million times, more even than the 5 that I put up here. There's so many adaptations of it. Some things you might not even realize that it is an adaptation of it, but it has the same themes and the same basic idea. And so what did these adaptations do to help their audience see the play in a new way? So we have this adaptation, Romeo and Juliet. They changed the setting from way back in Shakespeare's time to modern day. They made it in 96, but they changed it to modern day Los Angeles, and all the stuff that goes with that. So it's guns instead of swords, like modern props and costumes. They kept the original Shakespearean language though, which wound up being really cool because it really showed how even though it's an old play, it still is relevant in our modern society. And so that was one adaptation. And they changed the setting. Another adaptation was West Side Story. This is an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. They changed the setting from Shakespeare's day to 1950s New York City. They modernized the original language and they made it a musical. So now in the original play, they don't sing and dance, but in this West Side Story, they do. And they changed, instead of feuding families, it's rival gangs. In West Side Story, it's like the white kids and the Puerto Rican kids are beefing. And so they made these changes to try to underline and highlight the same original themes. They're telling a same story, but they're updating it, they're adapting it to try to make it relevant for a new audience. And High School Musical was the same thing. They changed the setting to a modern day high school. They modernized the original Shakespearean language. They added musical numbers to it, so it's a musical now. Instead of feuding families, they used high school cliques, so like jocks, nerds, or brains rather, drama kids. Those are like the feuding groups. And then instead of being a tragedy at the end, they changed it to a happy one because it's Disney. But this is how adaptations work, guys. They take the same original story and they tell it in a new way. They change the visuals, they change the vibe, they change the tone to try to make it relevant and exciting to a new audience of people. And that's what I'm asking you to do, not just with your overall project when you adapt the whole scene with your group, but even just today. Because what you're going to do today, as you kind of pause the video here and think and write in your note catcher about the ways that you can adapt Romeo and Juliet. What you're going to do, well, so again, make sure you pause and you do this part. But what you're going to do today, you're going to work with your group to annotate the prologue of Romeo and Juliet. You're going to translate it into modern English. So that way you know what it means. And then once you kind of translate the prologue, work with your group, make your poster, understand what the prologue is saying to you. After you do that, what you're going to do is adapt it. So you're going to adapt the prologue into like a graphic novel. So you're going to make the prologue that originally looks like this. You're going to adapt it from this into something that looks like American Born Chinese, where I'm giving you the text and you're creating visuals to make it look like a comic book. You're adapting it, trying to make it your own. So let me know what questions you have. Make sure you read all the directions. Good luck. Have fun with this. This is just the first little bit of practice on making an adaptation. That's going to give you kind of a taste of what our overall project is going to be. Instead of adapting a whole scene right now, you're just going to start with the prologue, but you're using some of the same skills. So good luck. Have fun. Let me know if you have questions, and I will see you guys later.